Hi, my name is Ulker and I'm from moviemagazine.com. This is a so when you are adapting the novel, such as the All Quiet on the Western Front, there will be lots of questions whether it was adapted well or not. And there's a part that people gonna say, oh my God, why would he have left out, or why he included this and that. This is a big responsibility. How did you manage that in order to carry that responsibility on your shoulder while you were filming that?
How do I deal with what?
How did you deal with that responsibility, with that burden on your shoulder to face the people on social network? Even?
I didn't. I was scared to hell. No. Well, you just have to. It's a subjective thing, you know. Another filmmaker would make it differently, and I made my choices, and so of course it's a big pressure. There is a huge responsibility towards the following of the book, but I felt what I care most about is what is the essence of the novel? What is it about? And I felt it's about how young people are brought into war, are pulled into war by language mostly, by propaganda, thinking they're doing the right thing, and they soon find out that actually they are, being manipulated, and that the war isn't made out what it's supposed to be, what they thought it would be, and that there's nothing but death and destruction and horror and terror. And they find that out, and they basically die inside. Even if they're not killed, they're still dead inside, and all their emotions are killed. And that's what the story is about, and that's what I tried to portray in the movie. And then around that topic, I took license. And also, to me, it's important. This movie comes out 100 years after the novel was written. Remarque didn't have the Second World War in mind. The Second World War did happen though, and we know about it. And so it felt like we need to perceive this book in a different light. And that's why I also included a character, for example, that isn't in the novel, Matthias Erzberger. He's a diplomat who signed the peace treaty in Versailles, in Compiègne near Paris. And he was soon murdered after the war, 2 years after, by nationalists because he was blamed for the loss of the war. So I wanted to show the future that this war actually wasn't over. It led to a Second World War and to more death and destruction. It was a chapter in a big destructive moment in history.
So, you have seen lots of movies about war. I watch a lot of movies about war, and it's never pleasant. And do you feel like after filming this one, or after what you have seen, I don't want to talk about Ukraine specifically, the war is everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Even there are wars that we don't know that exist.
Yeah.
Like in Africa somewhere, they're killing each other. Do you feel like it's just a monopoly game for politicians?
Well, it's actually a very big part of the movie. If you watch it, there's a big part that people play Monopoly with people. It's part of it. I show the contrast between the soldiers in the trenches and the people who just pulling back. And definitely, a lot of the times it's about ego as well, about American ego and wanting to leave something behind in history. And it's a problem with, I guess, a lot of male politicians also, that they want to leave something behind, like a trace of themselves, in order to go down into history books. And that, of course, it's I think a lot of the times it's a big part of the motivation.
Don't you find this this is just a follow-up question, don't you find it funny that people that are having power, they want to leave something after themselves, but it's never something like good, almost a disaster? Is it something that is more notable in history than doing a good thing?
You mean to leave? I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
What I'm saying is that those politicians, they could have left something good behind after them, but the war, destruction, is that what their main goal? Why would they choose that? Because they are also as a human being, because someone's son dies there, someone's daughter dies in that war. Did you ever think about this? Why would they do that?
It's a very good question. I don't know where that motivation comes from. It beats me, but it is something that seems to be coming when you're too long in power, when there's a monopoly, when people stop telling you the truth, when people, when you're surrounded by a lot of yes people that just cater to you, and when people are scared of you, it seems to be something that, politicians want to leave something that they always think they're right. They don't realize anymore, they have no corrective, and that seems to be the case mostly. And then they put into their minds a feeling of mistrust and aggression, and very rarely it turns into something good. You're right.
So one last question, because I know the gentleman wants to ask.
Sure.
Like, if you had a chance to put something into audience mind through your film, I know that it's not up to you because we are like we come up with our own takeaway. But what would you like for people to take away from this film? Because you have a genuine good reason to make this film, to portray the war from the worst way possible. What would you like people to think about it?
I would just like them to feel for a minute, for 5 minutes, for an hour, to take that feeling of that nothing but destruction can come out of armed conflict, and to make sure that we in our daily endeavors, keep up whatever helps. Is it daily communication? Is it international organizations that bring people together? So I want them to feel, just to carry the movie with them for a couple minutes and just feel, and to feel what these, young people were thrown into and how their souls and emotions were stolen.
Thank you, Mr. Berger.
Thank you so much.
Much appreciated.
Thank you very